This video is all about this. It's called a FOSSIBOT, believe it or not, and it's the F2400. And this is going to be really interesting because this is really good value for money, and this is a power station that you can plug and play to run a full camper van. Like a lot of the others you can't. And at this value, I think it's really competitive against putting leisure batteries in and MPPTs and battery to battery charges, etc. So let's have a look at this and see what I mean about fitting it in the van. Then we'll have a look at more of the features and we'll finish off by testing it in the cottage as we always do with a big power pack. So one of the key features of this, which is going to make it really useful for van life and being a one power unit for a van, is this socket here. So that socket there is 12 volts at 25 amp. So you can take a power supply out of this XT60 socket here. If you fit a lead to a fuse box like this, that plugs in there, and then you run all your 12 volts off this in your camper van. And because it's 25 amps, there'll be enough power there to run a fridge, your lights, a diesel heater, all from that. In the top here are the cables that come with it, and you get a solar charging lead, you get a mains lead, so there's no charging brick with it, and you get a car charging lead. So on this side is where the inputs are. So there's the mains lead, and in there you will plug your 12 volt socket in to charge it from your car, or you'll plug the lead in to link to your solar. So as you're driving along, you can plug this in, and this will give you 12 volts in there to charge it. It will be a slow charge, but it will put some power in. As you get to a campsite, or if you want to use this on any type of mains power, obviously the lead is only this long, and on a campsite they have different hookup connectors, but that's not a problem. You can buy one of these, they're inexpensive, and they're a power unit with the campsite type plug on there. It's got a fuse unit in the top there, trip fuses, and it has your 3-pin sockets on it. So what you can do if you're on a campsite is you'll plug that into your campsite hookup and then plug the actual power unit in here, which makes it super safe because the campsite will obviously be fused and this is fused. So you can charge this from a campsite, and if you want to charge it from a home or a standard 3-pin socket, you can buy an adapter like this, inexpensive, that plugs into this, that transfers that to a 3-amp plug, so you can actually plug it into a normal socket. So if you fit this into your camper van or your car camping and you're going to use this for all your power, you don't have to cut a hole in the side of your van to wire in a hookup lead. You can just do it in this type of formation. So it makes it really practical and easy to move around. Likewise with a solar lead, just plugs in the side of there, and you can buy extensions of this. They're inexpensive, and you can buy like 20-30 meter extensions for these, and you can either plug that into a portable solar panel, or if you want to put panels on the roof of your van, you can do that as well. So with this being your 12 volt supply to everything in your van, so you'd wire all your lights in and anything else you want at 12 volts. They'd all go to this fuse box, and that'd plug into the socket on the front as we showed you before. Solar, you plug this in and plug it into your solar. Car charging, as you're driving along, you can use this, and then your mains lead through that camp hookup fused unit. So this is what I mean by this unit is a real good option for running everything in a camper van instead of buying separate lithium batteries and MPPTs and everything else. And the price of these, and I'm not sure of it at the moment, so I'll put it down here, and there may well be a discount code below, so check that out. These are significantly cheaper than buying a lithium battery of this size, an MPPT, a mains charger, and a 12 volt charging unit as well. So that makes this really competitive. And what they've done with this unit is they've put these rubber covers over everything to keep moisture out. It's not waterproof, but it helps to keep the moisture out. And something else I haven't seen actually has these flaps over the side here, which goes over the fans keep the dust out when it's in storage, so you must remember to open those. But this also ensures that you give enough airspace if you was to put it in a cupboard or in back of your camper van. That's where the sockets are for the inputs. 12 volt side of this will go from 11.5 volts input to 50 volts and up to 500 watts. So you could put 500 watts of solar into this. That's the other side, and it has a flap on the same. And this side here is where the main sockets are on this unit. So with these flaps on here, it ensures there's a space to get your plugs in and to make sure there's enough ventilation if it's up against a cupboard or something. Flap top and a little storage thing in there to put all your cables in, which I do like. Obviously no through charging on the top to charge your phone. It does have a light on the front, and it has a variable input wattage for charging. So you can charge it up to 1100 watts or down to 300 watts, and that's for the main input charging. So I've never seen before, and that will obviously protect your battery a bit longer, but it will also make the sound of this quieter because the fans won't run as much. Connections, 2 QC3s 3.0, and they're PD20s at 20 watts, and then at the bottom you have another PD20 and a PD100 for fast charge. And of course on this side you have the traditional obligatory 12 volt socket there, and the one we've been talking about. And these are barrel connectors. We see these on quite a few units, and you can charge and run things from them as long as it's 12 volts and not more than 3 amps. Lots of LEDs run off those. So everybody always asks, what will it power? And it will power all these things and a number of these things at the same time. So it's 2400 watts outputs. So when you're buying your campervan equipment, you buy things with the lowest wattage possible. So this toaster here is about 700 watts. So it'll run that no problem. This is low wattage. This one here is 600 watts. This is just over 1000 watts. This is a pizza oven. Kettle, 800 watts. So you can run a number of these together. This is a sandwich maker or a grill, electric grill toaster, and you can easily run this, that and the hot pot, or a combination of them, up to the 2400 watts. Now if you have this power unit in back of your camper van or away in a cupboard, you don't want it on site all the time, the controls are all on the front, there's nothing on the back, and we know about the vents at the side to give it space to have ventilation. Now the sockets on this are on the side, and obviously these cables are not very long. You don't really want to be hugging this around, dragging this from one place to another to plug everything in. Not so bad when you're outside if you're cooking like this, but you just simply buy an extension lead. You plug it into one of the sockets on the side, and there's a multi-extension lead there, and you run that through your van where you want it to be, and that's a really easy way to get mains power into the place you want it in your camper van. And that's what this is all about for me, I think. This is a really good, cheap, efficient, easy way to put a full power system in a camper van. Super bright, lovely day today, and it's not as warm as it looks. But what we do with every power pack of this size, or anything over 1000 watts really, we take it into the cottage and we plug it into our off-grid system, and we have a look at how it runs the cottage through our main switching unit. So we'll go back to the cottage and check that, and we'll have a closer look at some of the features on this as well. So the final big test for this unit is the off-grid linkage, and you'd have seen it before if you watch my videos. We have the mains coming in there to a transfer switch, so we can switch that from mains to a generator, and that puts all the power through the generator through a normal fuse box. And if the inverter's good in this unit, none of those fuses will click off. So let's see what happens. So that lead comes through to a plug, and I've plugged an extension lead into this because the lead from the transfer box isn't just long enough. So let's switch the unit on. I've got the flaps open, the wings open on the side, so it's got its ventilation. And then we'll switch the power unit off and then over to generator. Need to turn the AC on. There's the button on the side. So that's on. And we're using 2400 watts because the electric arg's running as well. So it's doing well to run it at that. That's almost the capacity of this unit, look, slightly over. And no clicks, no bangs, nothing flicked off. So that's done really well. So that proves the inverter is good in this. Now you can use this as an uninterrupted power supply as well. So if you plug your mains charging lead into there and into the wall socket, and then plug whatever device you want to keep running out of here, a computer or a piece of medical equipment, if the power goes off from the input, it'll automatically switch over to use the battery power in this instantly. So that's very impressive. Look at that, 2,300 and 2,400 watts. And that's running everything in the cottage. We've got a few lights on, the internet, I think the TV's on, but the electric arc will be taking most of that power. And it's super quiet. So there you have it, the FOSSIBOT. I don't know where they get the names from. 2,400 watt power output inverter in this. And the only thing that it doesn't have is an app, which should be just the icing on the cake for this. Because if you want to use this as your complete power supply for your campervan, you could put this away underneath your bed, in a cupboard, in the garage of your campervan, your motorhome or your caravan, and control it by the app, but it doesn't have an app. So you need it accessible to the front of this unit to enable to switch things on and off. That's the only downside, I would say, for this particular unit. But at this price, if you want to run a van with lithium phosphate batteries and all the gubbins you need to run, mains, 12 volts, etc., this is a really good way to do it, and at a really low price as well. Check the description below. There'll be all the links to the websites. There'll be all the information about it and the diagrams and everything else that I haven't told you. But I don't think these will be around for long, so check them out quick if you're interested in doing this. And let me know if you get one and run your campervan off it as well. So I'd be really interested to see that. And you never know, FOSSIBOT might get in touch with us again soon. And next time we might ask them for one to give away as well. So we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching and take care.